Eugene, last week was probably a pretty special moment for you, I would imagine.
Yep, yeah. Volk's, big kind of comeback. Well, it was actually really special for me personally. But yeah, just a big occasion and just a lot at stake. Yeah. So fantastic.
You told me a little bit about the afterwards getting back to New Zealand. It seemed like a bigger mission as the fight.
Yeah, but that's how I prefer it. Like sometimes overseas every 2 to 3 weeks, so got out of there pretty quickly. Yeah, I think we didn't get out of the venue till 3:30 a.m. and then Miami's a really late city, so the after party was still full pumping at that time. So from the venue to the after party, and then you were only arriving at that after party 4 a.m. So come back in the morning, and then I was pretty much straight back on a taxi, and then back to the airport in Miami, fly up to JFK, and then JFK to Auckland. And anybody who's done New York to Auckland, they know that that's the big one. That's over there it's like 15 hours, but coming back the opposite way it's about 17 hours, so that's a massive flight. So yeah, but I made it back in one piece. So
yeah, and you turned up here and carried on, and you were talking to me about 2 o'clock and you hadn't had any sleep.
Yeah, the best way to deal with jet lag and stuff is to honestly go straight back into your routine. So try not to sleep, try not to have naps, just try to carry on as if you never left the time zone with your normal day, and I felt I deal with it pretty good if I do that. If I let fatigue kind of get to me and then I start to nap and then eat at odd times, then that messes you up for a good week or week and a half. So I think that's the best strategy that I've personally used to kind of deal with that jet lag. Yeah.
Something a lot of people probably don't know. Hey, just leading into the fight, tell us the feel of the camp. The was it pressure? Was it what was it like? How difficult a job did you have ahead of you?
I think that leading into the camp, I think the team, again, I'm a little bit talking from my own personal point of view, but I think we felt very good that Volkan had a good break. I think, we tried to turn over really quickly because of after the Islam fight into the Topuria fight. And obviously, history worked against us there. So the approach was different. It was to give Volker a nice long break, and I think we felt good about that. Like we felt good in that regarding that decision, and then Volk got into training for this fight nice and early, and looked really, really good early. And you always, I've had plenty of camps with plenty of guys where I feel like I'm behind, but most, not all, but most Volkanovski camps, I feel like he's ahead of where he probably should be. That's just testament to the way that he works. And then as the camp proceeded, from what I saw, it looked really good. Like Volk looked really good. Put it this way, and hindsight's 2020, but it definitely looked better than the Topuria camp. I went back through the Topuria camp quite intricately. I looked at a lot of things. I looked at a lot of the old sparring videos and a lot of the training footage. I went back after the fight and did quite a deep dive into that, which is like something that I don't normally do. Like obviously when you win, you kind of like take it for granted a little bit and you just kind of move on. The footage was just different. Like in the Topuria fight, I can't exactly pinpoint what it was, but it almost felt like there was a little bit of distrust or not fully believing in what the team was trying to get across, or that the execution of what we were trying to do, for me, felt like it wasn't there. And we paid the price for that. Whereas this one, I felt like maybe Volk fully trusted in the process, and the execution was there, which was the important thing. This is what I think, this is what Joe and the team want to get across. This is what you should do, and if you don't do this, then we're going to pull you up on it. And the proof's in the pudding. The reason why this is happening is because we think this should happen, and we can point clearly to these things and we can correct them. He can self-correct himself, and that whole process is like a very thorough process that's going on during the camp. Whereas I think in the Topuria camp, it just didn't feel like that to me. It didn't feel like there was that cohesion and that belief necessarily. And again, that's just my own personal point of view. Like I'd have to talk to the other coaches in regard to that. But the camp leading up was great. I felt everything was like on point up until fight week. Yeah.
Fight week go good. Weight cut and everything.
And then fight week was, like the one thing, this team, or not really this team, but the extension of this team, like Joe, Brad, Frank, who's been involved with this team a lot, Craig, we're all, heavily involved in each other's camps. Like, one thing we're very good and we've mastered is fight week. Yeah. And like, a lot of people think fight week is just a whole lot of waiting around, but it's not a whole lot of waiting around. It's a whole lot of setting a scene up, setting a mood up, like knowing how to crescendo everything to a certain peak, to a certain point, making sure when you have a big camp like a Volk or Israel camp or a championship camp that all the different personalities and egos are where they need to be, and then there's the logistical side of it, making everything's moving in the right direction. There's just so much that comes into it and has to be thought out. And this team and Joe and his team are very good at fight week and making sure fight week goes perfectly, leading to that like choke point and making sure that everything gets to there just right where it should be. So fight week, for me it was excellent, just the right amount of work. I thought Joe planned that like perfectly. So fight week was, awesome. Like fight week was great. You can't ask for a better fight week than that.
Can we talk through the fight after round number one?
After round number one, like everything kind of came together for us in round number one. Joe and the team had put together a very thorough plan. I thought we'd had all our bases covered. I thought we're always very thorough, but when you're coming off a loss or something just pushes you to the next level, right? And I felt we pushed ourselves to the next level in terms of our coaching. And round one couldn't have gone better for us.
Round two?
Yeah, round two. Obviously, that's where would we have the knockdown in round two, I believe. Yeah, I think so. So other than that, I was like pretty happy with round two as well. Look, with the benefit of being able to watch a video and watch it back, which is easy. It's easy to judge when you're watching a video, you know. I pitched that a shutout, and you got to understanding that I'm going to have my bias because I'm part of the team, so there's definitely going to be bias there. But trying my best to remove my bias, I had it a shutout. I wouldn't have given him round two based on the kind of flash knockdown, and you could see that Volk recovered immediately. I felt that Volk sustained damage, and the amount of times that he hit Lopez over round two was just too much for that flash knockdown to make up. And I wouldn't have given him 4 as well. Yeah, when he blinded Volk for a little bit, I wouldn't have counted that as like significant damage. Volk recovered from that, and if you watch it afterwards, Volk wins the exchanges after that. So Volk's winning the round up till then quite comfortably, and he's winning the round. Apart from forward pressure and running into punches, he's also winning the round after that damage was done to the eye. So it's like, but again, I'm obviously going to be full of bias, but I pitched it a shutout. Yeah, 5-0. That's just how I had it. So yeah, round two was another good round. Round three, I mean, Diego started to make, started to really put the pressure on. Round four, we had the incident with the eye, but I thought, and then obviously Volk was a master in round five. Volk, we always have multiple layers to the game plan, and in all honesty, like, Volk only touched the first few layers. He didn't have to go to some of the deeper layers that he had available to him. Diego made some adjustments, but nowhere near the amount of adjustments that we thought, so we didn't have to go into the plan as deep as we had actually been working on for the last 12 weeks, which is good. We had it ready. You've got to have it ready, but we didn't have to go there. So yeah, overall, like, I thought it was a typical Volk fight. It was like a masterclass. Like, it was a lesson. It was a masterclass in fighting.
How long was he blinded by that shot?
From the moment that he started, like, kind of running, like moving, till like the middle of the round. I think in the middle of the round you can hear him say, "Oh, my eye's clearing up now." So it was clearing up during the round, but yeah, so from the moment it happened to about halfway through the 1 minute break. I mean, like, yeah, Volk said he had trouble because I think Volk was moving to the right, but I think it was the left eye that was blinded. So when you're moving this way and the opponent's on this angle, you're obviously a lot of the focus is your left eye. But if you don't have your left eye, then you've got your right eye, so it becomes difficult. So
when you were watching, did you think, "Oh hell, we're in trouble" for momentarily?
For sure. It took a little while to figure it out. Like, we figured it out pretty quickly. It was the eye, but it was like, man, was that, like, is he stunned a bit, or is it his eye? But then we could see that it was his eye giving him trouble. And look, when Volk kind of like decided to stand his ground a little bit and trade a little bit, although some people will look at that and be like, "Oh, that's putting yourself in a risky situation," it also gave us confidence that Volk was like, he was there, like, he was dealing with it. And he was meeting some of that aggression and dealing with that injury by letting Diego know, by kind of drawing a line in the sand and saying, letting Diego know, just like, I'm hurt a little bit, but if you come on to me, I'm going to stand here with you. there's a price to pay. So it kind of let us confidently know that he was dealing with it and he was fine.
Afterwards, the elation, what was the big relief, or what was the feeling going through your mind?
So look, I didn't have the same feeling I did after watching the video back. In hindsight, I felt that, although I felt quite quietly confident that we won, man, I've also know that sometimes UFC judging leaves you a little bit, perplexed. So I wasn't. So that was like the part that I was a little bit unsure of. Yeah. So I was still a little bit, like worried. But after, there's a video out there now that I think Frank posted. But I took off from the cage and went straight to the back room. I wanted to be with one of our bros, Frank, who wasn't included in the corner team this time because we opted for a different mix. We had Brad there. But I knew Frank was out the back, so I was like, oh man, I'll charge out the back and be with Frank, and we can go through the decision together, which was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed being out the back with him and going through that little roller coaster when you're waiting for the decision. But in the end, Volk got the decision. It was no surprise. I thought it was masterful. I thought the boys did really well. Joe tied everything together and had a perfect plan. And those guys are the best in the world for a reason. Like Volk is, like I said, like you can't, like, the fact that you doubted that guy against Lopez is a mistake. Like you made a mistake. You let your own bias and your own feelings get in the way. In a similar fashion to when I looked at the fight and I looked at the way Diego fought, to me, I thought this could go one of two ways. Like either Volk has been affected by those two losses and Diego starts to get some ascendancy, or it's going to be a shutout. And obviously, the first round was really telling for me. I was like, oh man, this is Volk.
This is old Volk.
This is Volk. So like, Volk's best in the world. And, and Joe Lopez, who's guided Volk from the very start, is, you have to say, is the number one trainer in this part of the world, definitely Australia. One thing I admire about Joe is he doesn't do what I do. I coach all these high-level fighters, but I 100% don't coach them by myself. I form a part of a coaching team. So I have a team of what, in my opinion, are some of the best coaches in the sport. They don't necessarily get in the camera as much as I do and do all this bullshit part that I do, which is why they're not as maybe well recognised by the public. But they don't need to be recognised by the public. They don't want to be recognised by the public. But they're definitely recognised by the team and myself. I teach with a team, and I can't imagine teaching my guys without that team. Joe, for the most part, trained Volk up for the majority of his career by himself. And then Joe and Volk are smart enough that when it gets near the pointy end, to recruit the right people to give them the right help. Like, for me, that's amazing, and that's why he, in my mind, is probably the best coach, at least in this region, number one, yeah.
What's next now? Is he want to fight again quickly, or what is Volk going to do?
I think he'll turn around pretty quickly, I think. I think he wants to keep the momentum going. Like back in the day, I think he knows that there's advantages to that. He also knows that he's going to be 37 soon, I think. So I think he's going to move things along pretty quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets into training pretty quickly and starts to work on new things. So yeah, amazing.
I guess the follow-up question would be, do you think that's going to be a motivation for anybody else here in the gym, namely Izzy, that Volk can do it, it can be done, and do you know what Izzy's mindset is at the moment?
That this whole gym, no one's bigger supporters and bigger fans of Volk than the young fighters and the fighters and the team, than this gym. Israel's 100% inspired by Volk, been inspired by Volk the whole time, since the start of Volk's career. They come up together. They were like this. It's crazy. Like at one stage, those two had the UFC locked down. You could not have a conversation about the best fighters in the UFC without mentioning Volkanovski and Adesanya. They had they had the UFC locked down for not just 6 months. It was locked down for 2, 3, 4 years. At one stage they were sharing. They were 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 pound for pound. For what you can take what you want from that. They came up together, so they have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for each other. Different athletes, 100% different athletes, but I think they know that they're different athletes, and I think what Volk looks for from Israel is some of the things that Israel has that Volk doesn't have, and I think what Israel looks for in Volk is some of the things that Volk has that Israel doesn't have. So they're different athletes, but that'll 100% be inspirational for Israel. I hope he takes a lot of inspiration from Volk and Volk's work ethic in particular, and brings that back and puts that in place. So yeah.
I just got to mention the team that it was great to see Brad in the corner. He's making a mark as a coach, and that's special to me because when we first come along and did the Wimp to Warrior, you and Brad did the first Wimp to Warrior in New Zealand.
Obviously I have a deep history with Brad. He came to me, and then I started coaching him and helped him achieve some of his goals. I haven't not cornered or coached Brad for a while, so it was good to be in the corner with him. And I can see that Brad's taken a lot of all the lessons he learned before he came to CKB, and a lot of the lessons he learned at CKB, and a lot of the lessons he's learned from all over the place, and he's putting that together really, really well. He was making some very sharp, very telling calls and suggestions in the corner, and he showed a lot of maturity. The corner did that corner is one of the best I've worked. Joe coordinates everything. I come in and help sew things together. I take a little bit from Brad, I take something from Craig, we come back to the corner, and it's very cohesive. It flows really, really well. Try to get what we want across, try to be very to the point, try not to try not to over talk or overshadow everybody. Funnels their information to Volk very well, very precisely. So it was good to work with Brad. Brad's going to be, like I said in other interviews, he will become a world-class coach. But I don't think his journey fighting is quite over. I sent him an interesting message. I said, I at the end of the camp, I think I was flying home, I just said, awesome work, bro, or something like that. And I said, look, being a coach is okay, it can be pretty cool, but being a fighter is 1,000 times better. Being a warrior is, you want to be a warrior, because this stuff's cool, but it's nowhere near as cool. So it's just my way of encouraging the set, brother. Not quite done yet. Squeeze as much out of that fight career as you can, because you don't want to get there and before you know it, you look up and you're a coach and you can't fight anymore.
Hey, thanks for the catch up. That was brilliant. I was
cool.
Really looking forward to hearing that and getting the.
No, thanks, Tony. onwards
Cool,
and
mate.
upwards. Cool. Cheers.
Right.